We are joined now by actress Ali Walker. You know her from roles in films like While You Were Sleeping and shows like Sons of Anarchy. Now she is adding author to her resume with her debut novel, The Light Runner. Welcome, Ali. We're so happy to be with you.
Thank you. It's so nice to be here.
Start with the very beginning. What's the book about?
So what is the book about? This is always a confusing question for me because I get all lost in tangents. But it's basically it's a thriller, and at the center of it is Dr. Ella Kramer, who's a young psychiatrist working at a psychiatric hospital. And she's treating a high-profile patient who is a war hero, and he's running for the U.S. Senate, and his wife has been murdered. And Ella has some baggage, some trauma from her past, but as she starts to treat him, and starts to unravel his story, her own reality begins to sort of unravel. And what happens is the other patients at the psychiatric hospital, like the schizophrenics, the people with multiple personalities, start telling her about the different realities that are all around her. And she sort of goes down this rabbit hole and starts to figure out what happened with the murder of this guy's wife. So it's really, it's a great thriller, I think. It's really fun because you kind of just have to keep reading. Like my friends are like, "What happened? So what happened next?
What happened next?"
You know, it wasn't
you know you got.
Yeah, so it was really fun.
And you started putting pen to paper, what, about 10 years ago. So what made you finish the project?
I did. Well, I had written it as a pilot, and I had the first like 2 or 3 episodes, and I pitched it. And people either liked the idea but weren't too sure because it was really different. And it was kind of a difficult concept to kind of explain to people. So nobody would pick it up, and everybody was like, "Okay, great job, see you later." And I just went home and was like, you know, I read. And I love books because I tend to overwrite in scripts and have to slash half of it out of the script. So I was like, you know what, I'm just going to try to write a book. And I did. It took me a while, but I did.
Look at where we are now, right?
What's amazing to me is how you kept this secret or private for so long, even from like your husband and your kids. Like, why didn't you let them in on it for a while?
You know, I did this with a lot of things. Like when I wrote my film, I was very private about it. I did a film called Farmer, and I just kind of did it myself. I think it's a way of like not having expectations and not having other people's expectations on you. You know, because as an actress, there's a lot of, you know, you're out there, you're out front, and everybody expects something from you, and you have to deliver. And I didn't kind of want that pressure with these kinds of things. I was just like, let me just see if I can do this, and if I can do this, it'll be great, and if I can't, nobody will know.
But where did you go, to a cabin? I mean, how did you keep it top secret?
No, man, I just would like write, you know, I'd be, I remember writing in the school line, you know, on my
Acting
laptop.
like you're making a grocery list or something.
I'd be like second place in the store, I'd be like, hang on, I gotta write that down. Wait, I gotta write that down.
And nobody asked a question. So
Nobody asked that question. So when you tell your husband and your sons, like, oh my God, I wrote a book, like a whole book.
Oh yeah, my husband was in shock. He went, what? Like, you did? When did you do that? And he was great about it, but my kids were like, oh, that's great, Mom. What's for dinner anyway? And you're just like, I have 3 boys, so it's always kind of like, oh, good job, Mom. You know,
kind of hard to impress.
Yeah, they don't think anything of it. So I'm like, anyway, we're having, you know, chicken. You know, so it's been interesting, but
so
fun.
You've done so many things throughout your career, the acting, we talked about, you know, the directing, but this, I wouldn't call this a career transition, but a career addition now, being an author. Is that scary to you to try something new like this?
Oh, yeah, I was really scared. And I was really scared to put it out. I actually gave it to a publisher and they picked it up. And they went out of business, unfortunately. That's why I changed gears. But I was really shocked they picked it up. You know, I kept going, you want to publish it? You know, and it was really, it was very scary. But I think those are the things in life that make life interesting. If you can just challenge yourself and try to do new things. I mean, I had the acting gig down pretty well. I did it for 35 years. I could write scripts. I won awards for my scripts. You know, I really was very blessed to do as much as I did. But the writing is a little daunting, and it takes a long time.
Very daunting.
Yeah, it's really scary, and then people all have, you know, opinions and stuff, so you really kind of have to, and you have to listen, because they're right. You always think what you're doing is so, oh no, this is great, and then you go back to it and you're like, oh my God, it's terrible.
there is
and then
reason for edit.
Exactly, it's a collaborative, it really is. So
well, you must have not been that scared because you've already started book 2 of the series.
Yes, I have book 2 of the series. Well, I thought about it as a whole world. It's like the Harry Potter for adults, I thought, you know, and because it's sort of almost a superhero because the people in it are disabled, but their disabilities become their superpowers.
I love that.
And in a very interesting way. And I thought that's kind of a cool take on life, you know, that these people actually can hear things or see things that we just don't understand, but we label them as crazy or whatever you want to label them as. So the second book is continuing in that vein. So, yeah.
All right, one more time for Allie, everybody. That was pretty cool. Yeah, bravo. And by the way, The Light Runner is on bookshelves nationwide right now.